welcome to Habits for Humans, the podcast that explores what makes people tick and how to program this brain of ours through habits. We're going to explore why sometimes and in some areas of our lives we can really rock it and just excel, while in other areas and at other times we can just fall flat on our face. If we want to be healthy and happy, what's the secret to programming this brain to maximize our potential? I'm your host, Pamela Henry, and I'm excited today to introduce our guest, Chad Hyams. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Is that correct?
You sure did, Pamela.
Awesome. Good. He is an expert in mindset, and so we're going to talk about how mindset is so crucial in our productivity and success. But first, we have several giveaways that we're going to have at the end of this episode, so make sure you stay tuned till the end. And first, a word from our sponsors. This episode of Habits for Humans is brought to you by Card Salad. Card Salad's Eat Well program is kind of like HelloFresh meets Oprah. Get a free week of meal planning done for you at the end of this podcast. And it's brought to you by The Success Choice, a company that provides tools to help you filter through the noise of life and establish positive routines to find balance, order, and joy in the journey. So stay tuned for a special discount. I'm excited to introduce our guest. Chad Hyams is a husband, father, and son. He is known as the voice of reason. He's a best-selling author, speaker, and coach that focuses on life maximization. And he's a co-host of the Win, Make, Give and the 15-Point Plan podcast. He's known for telling it like it is, with practical and easy to understand examples to assist his audiences and coaching clients to achieve dreams and desires that they never believed possible. So I'm excited to talk to Chad today, and we always start our episode with one habit or tool that you use that helps you to stay balanced and productive.
Wow. Right off the bat.
Just one thing to begin with. What's something you do every day to help you manage stress even?
Workout.
Workout, yes.
That would probably be my thing. The adrenaline hit or the endorphins, the adrenaline that comes from it, the time with myself. So I get that mindfulness where I just get some alone time for it. And I'm one of those people, I do my workout first thing in the morning. I'm out of bed and 15 minutes later, I'm in our home gym working out. So to me, it's what then kickstarts the whole day because that then dominoes through everything else.
Yeah, you start with a win.
That's it. Start with a win, makes the day a lot easier. Stay away from that snooze button, which would be another one, right? I get up when my alarm goes off. I don't hit snooze and stay in bed because then I'm already losing for the day.
Yeah. And it's not easy, but I'm sure over time, as you've done it, it has just gotten easier and easier. One thing that I've thought about for me with something like that, in the very beginning, it is super hard to do. And it is this push to do. But then it becomes this pull. And I had foot surgery a couple of months ago. And when I couldn't work out, I missed it. Once it becomes that established routine.
Pamela, I heard that from once that said, how do you know something is a habit? And the answer was when it becomes harder not to do it, or when you really miss not doing it. That's how you know something is truly a routine or habit in that regard, if we use that term. That's what our audience should be shooting for every day. Take those key things, not everything. Take those key things that are bringing you the maximization in your world. And the goal is do them until a point that it's harder not to do them than it would be to just do them because it's such part of your routine.
I love that. I'm writing it down, not to do that. Yeah, I think that's a very good distinction to point out. Yeah. So tell me how mindset falls in with all of this.
Mindset is everything, right? Because it's the voice that's talking to us in our head all day long. That's what mindset truly is. What's that little voice going? And I always like to say, if you think about it, whatever age you are, you at some point in your life saw the cartoon or the comic strip or wherever, where the little angel's on one shoulder and the little devil's on the other shoulder, right? That's mindset right there. What are they saying? And whose voices are you hearing when they're talking to you? Right? When I hear that angel talk, depends where I am. When I'm in the gym, that's my trainer's voice, right? The devil's voice in that situation is going to be, that lazy friend of mine who's like, oh, don't work out. It makes me look bad. That, it's the brownie talking, saying, hey, come eat me instead. The little angel voice. And then it changes in other situations in my life. It's going to be my wife. It's going to be my business partners. It's going to be whatever it is. That's what mindset truly is. And as you've already said, it starts the minute we're awake. We can't control our mind while we're sleeping. Don't sit there and attempt to say, I can take control of my dreams and all this stuff. No, when you wake up in the morning, though, and that alarm's going off, those voices start talking right away. And the devil voice is saying, hit snooze, just stay in bed. It's cold out there. Take 15 more minutes. And that angel saying, come on, let's get up and let's get this day going. And whose voice are we choosing to listen to throughout the day? That's really what mindset is.
Yeah, and that is, that's one thing to be aware of, that there are those two voices, and you have the ability to choose which one you listen to. And, it's more habitual to listen to one or the other, perhaps. And so it takes really conscious deciding that you're going to choose to start tuning out the one voice and make this other voice stronger.
You use a great word in there, Pamela. You use choose, right? We've said that word, use choose. If you flip a coin, it's going to land on one of two sides, which would be, what are the two sides of the coin?
Heads or tails?
Heads or tails. Which one's good and which one's bad?
Well, in a coin, doesn't matter.
Correct. It doesn't matter. And a lot of times what we're always worrying about is good or bad. Look, good or bad is relevant in reverse. So it's not sitting there saying, hey, I had the brownie last night. Was that good choice or was that a bad choice? Well, some people say, well, it's a bad choice, Chad, because you're health focused and all that. And some people say, no, it was a good choice because I worked out hard all day and I earned that brownie. And if I don't eat that brownie, I'm going to sooner or later fall off the wagon and I'm just going to binge on bad food like crazy. I got to have that little treat now and then. We worry about good and bad. Don't. I use the angel and devil only because we get it, but we always assume the angel speaking good and the devil speaking evil. Sometimes the devil's choice is actually the right choice when we look back 5 years from now. Think of all those bad choices, Pamela, you made in your life that really worked out to be pretty good when you look back because you learned some valuable lesson or you ended up connected to such and such who then introduced you to such and such because of that bad choice. So it's like a coin. There's no good or bad. If you called tails, yes, you want tails. Yet if you called heads, you want heads. There's no good, bad until we look back later and realize I lost that coin toss and that caused this problem.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. One thing I do want to ask is how you got started in all of this. So tell me how you chose this path for your life.
I kept failing. And then before I knew it, people were asking me what not to do. And it just started me down a path, right? My path was through, I would say through real estate. Yet if I go way back, my path was through theater. I was a performer. I was behind the scenes guy and an on the stage guy. So I was a performer and a presenter. So I knew how to tell stories to people. I knew how to get up there in front of a crowd without a problem. So it starts way back when. Yet then I had a lot of success in real estate and a lot of failures in my life. I weighed 245 pounds. I'm only 5'10". That's carrying a bunch of weight. I went bankrupt. I went through a divorce. You name it, I failed at it along the way. And all that started happening was people were saying, hey, what lesson did you learn from it? What lesson did you learn from it? That it helped me become the opportunity to be able to take my ability to present and perform and share stories and take it to help people overcome the challenges or prevent the challenges that were lying ahead of them so that they could move forward at a faster pace in their life.
So it was really coming from other people, huh? Making you realize, hey, I
Yes,
have overcome some things. I have learned some lessons, and I have something to give other people.
absolutely. We all have something to give. everybody has some gift to give. I don't care whether it's you've got the best hugs in the world. I don't care whether it's you've got experience. I don't care whether it's you've made a lot of money and you got money to give. You bake really well, whatever that is. If you do, send it to me. Yet what it is we all have something to give. My gift, one of my gifts, other than being able to just speak to people, one of my gifts is being able to take the complicated and make it simple. Like, had I gone a different path, I can't imagine I would ever have done this. Yet I could see myself being a math teacher because I would have been the teacher that would have made like calculus and algebra. So you got it. We all had that one teacher that made complicated things sound so easy. That's one of the gifts that I have that I've been able to use over the years. And people seem to come and want that because they don't want to make it complicated. They want to make it easy. And as said, I've been known as the voice of reason because I'm also the guy who's going to tell you, no, that's just a dumb choice. And people have come to appreciate that.
I was just going to ask you that and say, is this where the voice of reason comes in?
Absolutely. Yeah. I got no problem saying, no, you shouldn't wear that outfit in public. I have no problem saying, no, that's probably a bad business choice. No, you're not seeing this. Where so many people want to say, well, yeah, sure. Or what do you think? Right. No, I'll give an opinion and I make it clear and concise and I take complicated to make simple. That allows me to be this voice of reason to people.
Awesome. So tell me about your book. So your book is called, let's see, Achieve Your Apex. Is that correct?
That is correct. Right
So
here,
what was
within
the
reach at all times.
what was the motivation for the book, and then maybe give us a couple highlights?
Wow. The motivation for the book, I guess that I'm going to take the motivation and the catalyst as two different things on this. The motivation for the book was I I want to give to as many people as possible. I believe you give to give, not you give to get. I say that in the book, right? You got to give to give. And I wanted to give as much as I could. And I can't get in front of everybody. I mean, that's why I'm on your podcast here, because it's another audience of people I can give to today. Right. And my goal is, can I get this book in the hands of as many people as possible? Because I know it'll help. Right. The subheading is how to maximize your strengths, create predictable results, and thrive in every facet of life. So, I mean, it's habits, it's routines, it's maximizing, it's the things that you were talking about right at the beginning of what this whole podcast is about. That's what this book is, and it's lessons to help everybody. So that was the motivation, was how do I get my message to as many people as possible? I put out a book, because you might not get me to come speak to your group, or you might not know me well enough to even know to invite me to speak to your group. Yet someone might hand you this book one day because they got it from someone who got it from someone and said, read this. How many times do we give books to each other and say, oh, you got to check this out, right? Or find it in the library and say, wow, that's a good read, I'm going to check this one out. That was the motivation behind it. The catalyst, honestly, was COVID. I was locked in the house, right? For the past 2 years, basically, you're not supposed to go anywhere or do anything. So it was finally, okay, I can't go speak. I can't go train the way that I like to do. I could do podcasts, which I do, the 2 podcasts that I get to host. Yet it was, okay, I've got the time. And since I can't go travel to speak, let me get this written down and put into words. And I live in the beautiful, beautiful Pacific Northwest. And we have mountains outside my window here. We have eagles circling my house today. There's a tree they live in right beside us. And it was just the apex of a mountain and the apex predator that the eagle is that just gave me that connection and created the story arc that I'm able to take through the book, which is achieving your apex, meaning the top of the mountain or the top of the food chain. And that was the thing missing. So when COVID locked me down and I was out for a walk one day or sitting, I just saw these things and they came together and said, there's how you tie the book together. Now get writing.
Yeah, so that again speaks to mindset, because you could have taken that as, I can't go out and speak, and life is so horrible, and this is the world is conspiring against me. Instead, you took an opportunity of, hey, I've got this time now. I'm not out speaking, I've got the time. How's another way I can reach people? Correct. So you had your goal of making a difference and reaching people, and then this was just another avenue. So again,
if you have a goal that's big enough to you. Now, I'm not a big believer, and I talk about this in the book. You said, give us a few highlights. Look, I bust a few myths in this book. I am not a believer in having this big overarching motivational why that people always talk about, right? What's my purpose? And we always get overwhelmed with this. I think you should have a purpose for the next 3 months, the next 3 weeks, the next year. It's not about having a purpose of I'm going to do this. And I don't use this in the book, but a great example that I've been using is the actor, and why is his name going out of my head right now? Ben Affleck's buddy there. Oh, Matt Damon. Okay. So once I say one, I can always get the other, right? So Matt Damon is bringing like clean water to Africa. That's like a mission of his. That's a purpose of his. Didn't start that way. He just wanted to get a script written to be a movie writer. Then he wanted to create a career. Then he wanted to do that. Now he has the means to be able to say, this is what my goal is. If my goal was also to bring clean water to everybody in Africa, I'd be paralyzed as to what I should be doing, because that's such a huge endeavor for somebody in my situation and our audience's situation. Although I can look up and I can say, you know what? I'm looking at the calendar and summer is only a few months away. I want a beach body. Okay, now I have a motivation for the next 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it's going to be. I want to be able to give my kid a car for Christmas this year because they turn this age or they're going off to college. Okay, it's a motivation that'll drive me for a short period of time. When we start to create these gigantic long-term vision goals, we either get paralyzed not knowing how to do it, or we just figure we have so long to get to it. We have to narrow that time down, Pamela, and say, what can I do now that that carrot hanging on the stick in front of me looks like it's within reach?
Yeah.
So it'll motivate me to go get it instead of, oh, it's all the way over there. I'll get there one day, maybe.
Yeah, I like that. Something that you can see,
Yeah.
that's not so far out there that you can't see it or grasp that it's possible,
No.
or
There
have
was
the
this
motivation for it.
there was a study done that said, and I'll ask you, I'll give you $100 today, okay, or I'll give you $200 in a year. Now, I'm not going to die in the year. Don't start thinking, well, you might. Okay. Which would you take? Would you take $100 today, or would you take $200 in a year from today? Which one would you take, Pamela?
Yeah, so $100 today, if you could utilize it for something that's a bigger return, could be way more than $200 in a year.
It could be. And that's how a lot of people will justify it, because they want the immediate, right? They want to see what's right here. That's what we always see. It pulled you. Now, most likely you'd buy a pair of shoes with it, or you'd go buy, a nice dinner with it and you'd eat.
It's only if you can invest it into something bigger. But if
Sure.
you can't invest it, and if it's just a matter of the waiting game and it's only a year, then $200 in a year would be better.
Sure. It's double. Yet most of our brains, and that's the better choice. Most of our brains, though, want instant gratification. So we reach for the $100 right now and justify, oh, I could turn it into more than the 200. And maybe some of us could. Most of us won't. It's the same thing with our goals. If I have a big goal over there and I have a smaller goal in front of me, I'm going to work for the goal. So I might as well set a goal in front of me that's going to pull me in stages so that I can make an investment. Okay, I'll make the $100 now, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and it'll be worth more than the $200 when I get there. Okay, so it's one of those things that we have to think about. Big motivational why pieces that people always talk about, and finding your purpose in life. No, find your purpose for the next season. Find your purpose for the month. Find your purpose for the next quarter, whatever it might be. That's one of those things that I talk about when it comes to mindset and planning and preparing for success. Give you
Good.
another one. You
Yeah.
said you wanted another one. I'll give you another one. People do affirmations, and I'm not going to put you on the spot or anything, but people do affirmations. I'm an amazing parent, or I'm a wonderful spouse, or I'm a great, or I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? Whatever your affirmation is. Here's the thing. As soon as we say the affirmation, our brain immediately says to us, you're lying. And everybody out there says, well, I should say these affirmations. And people tell me to do affirmations. And if I say them sooner or later, they'll come true. No, they won't. If I just said every day that I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm not a millionaire. If I just said I'm an amazing spouse, my wife might disagree with me on that. right? If I said I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise, or whatever it is, no, as I'm eating a cookie saying it, right? We have to take affirmations and turn them into what I call ask formations. Okay, I like to make up words. And this is one that I made up, ask formation, right? Take your affirmation and make a question out of it. What could I do to be a great spouse? Now, all day long, I'm going to think about it. My wife's out today. My wife's off running errands today. My wife's doing these things. I'm going to have dinner ready when she gets home tonight. Aha, right? That's better than me just saying to myself, I am a great spouse. Honey, where's dinner? Right? I'm going to say, what can I do to be a great spouse? I'm going to have dinner ready when she gets home. What can I do to be healthy, wealthy, and wise? What can I do to be a great parent? Who do I need to know to be a take your affirmations for those people who are out there who are attempting to really grab mindset. They're really attempting success and they've heard, hey, if you do these affirmations, this will help. Take a second and turn them into questions, make them ask formations, because your brain's job is to find answers. And by the end of the day, something's going to pop into your head that says, do this. Now all you got to do is go do that because your brain's already told you how to be better at what you want to be.
I like that. Yeah, ask formation. That's really good. Yeah, the practical action is what takes you to whatever you're going to do. You know.
Always, always. And too many of us don't do the practical action. We just say the words thinking that there's a genie somewhere that's going to make it happen because they're listening.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Do you have one more?
Do I have one more? I got tons of them. That's what the book's about, right? So, folks, check out Achieve Your Apex. I'll mention it again, right? And you can read a lot of them. I share stories of my own. I share stories of others. I went out and found other people and share their stories, how it ties in. You want to talk routine, you want to talk habit, you want to talk mindset. It starts with our calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, some people have jobs, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the job where you go to the post office and you punch a clock and you do your job. Yet here's the thing, when you're not at your job, for those kinds of people, you still should be using a calendar to control your world because it'll make you as productive as you are. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you're not just a job person, right? You are an entrepreneur. You are wanting to, you have the side hustle. You're wanting to get out of your job, whatever it is, you're here for growth. If you're listening to a podcast like this that Pamela is bringing you, it starts with the mindset of understanding your boss is your calendar. That's truly who my boss is. So I sit down on Sundays. I use an acronym called SPACE, which I can take us through, but I use an acronym called SPACE to build my calendar and coach my people to build their calendar for the week. Now I turn my calendar over to the calendar itself and it becomes my boss. I get to be the boss for 15 minutes while I create it. It gets to become my boss for the rest of the week by telling me what to do. When you and I were supposed to meet to record this, I showed up on time. Why? Because my calendar said it's time to be on that call with Pamela. And when my next call comes, I know where I need to be. And when I need to be in the gym, I know that. And when I need to be with my wife and unplugged and being purposefully attentive to her, my calendar tells me to do that. Now, some people are saying, well, Chad, you don't get to be spontaneous if you do that. Sure, I do. I schedule spontaneity, right? Now everybody's laughing at that one. You can't schedule spontaneity. I sure can. I have this evening time with my wife. I don't know what we're going to do. We might do a puzzle. We might go for a walk. We might put on some bad Netflix movie. Who knows what we're going to do? I'm spontaneous in that moment, yet I'm purposeful about how I'm using the time and whom I'm being spontaneous with.
Okay? Yeah, I think the structure is what gives you the freedom to be spontaneous.
Absolutely. And I walk around and I see people with their calendars, or I'll ask people to share their calendar with me. And there's so many blank spaces. And they say, oh, I'm going to do this and that in there. And I'm like, well, then why don't you schedule it? And I will tell you, the realization for me, Pamela, was as soon as I started to block my calendar out properly, I had less stress worrying about what I needed to do because my calendar already had it. And when I was sitting here right now talking to you going, I need to do whatever, I know it's on my calendar right here. I'm pointing, right? My calendar is like right there over my shoulder of the computer. My calendar is telling me what I need to do, when I need to do it. So if I'm sitting here saying, oh, I need to take out the trash, it's on the calendar to do those chores. It's on the calendar to do that other call. I don't have to worry about answering my emails that are beeping at me while I'm here with you because I've got time on my calendar for checking emails. Okay. So I said, I have an acronym SPACE. I'll run everybody through it really quickly. You get the book, it's in there in more detail. You want to contact me, we'll give you ways to contact me. I'm happy to take more time. Yet, for everybody's time's sake here, I'll keep it down. S stands for start your day. When do you start your day? Key, crucial thing to any success on any day is starting it and starting it right. Again, I've mentioned it before. Mindset is triggered as soon as we get up. Don't tell me you get up at 6 o'clock just so you can hit snooze until 6:30. Just set your alarm till 6:30 because that just tells me you don't understand how sleep works. If you think waking yourself up and attempting to fall back asleep is better for you than just sleeping until 6:30 and getting up. So when do you start your day and start it right? The P stands for promises. These are commitments I've already made to the week. So I made this commitment to you. This was a promise to be here when we were going to record. So on Sunday night, when I built my calendar, this goes on very quickly. It's in this order. It's a promise. Other appointments I have, the appointment with your hair person. I don't have that problem, yet others do. My dentist, my doctor, whatever appointments I've made, my coaching calls in my situation. Okay. Those are promises that go on your calendar, being at your kids' school events, whatever those might be for you, date night, etc. Promises. Then I do my advancements. That's what the A stands for. It's advancements. What are the key things that I do to advance my life forward? I take the term life and I break that down to the 4 areas of life. There's your love life, there's your improvement life, there's your fitness life, and then there's your economic life. What are the key things that I do? What are those KPIs, key performance indicators in those areas that move me forward? So I drink a gallon of water every day. I track my food every day. These are things that, okay, they're in my advancements, my workout. It goes on my calendar at this next stage. Where are those things to make sure I'm doing the things that are key for me? Okay. Then I get to the C. C stands for chaos. And I have an hour every day on my calendar for chaos because life happens. Right. And I'll just say it in the clean words, right? Life happens, and we know life is going to happen every day. So every afternoon, I have a half hour to an hour for chaos, which allows me to push that stuff into that window of time. So when people are saying, hey, do you got a minute? Hey, do you have 5 minutes for a call? Yes, in my chaos block. Or if the world just insists on taking my time at 9 a.m, I had a power failure, my kid's school called and said they're sick, come get them, whatever it was, I have this half hour to an hour to make up for what I lost, right? It's protected time to make sure all of my activities still get done. And then the E is end of day. And if something is crucial, this is crucial. When do we end our day? And Pamela, as soon as we leave the house and go to college, whether we go to college or don't, and we leave the house, we stop having a bedtime in our life because our parents aren't there to hold us to one. And if we don't set a bedtime for ourselves, we stay up late doing useless things and wasting our energy and our time. Plan when your day is going to end so you get the right amount of sleep so your day can start right the next day, and know when you're supposed to unplug. You don't have to be strict. You don't have to say it's 10 o'clock every night. If Monday Night Football's on and you want to stay up late, just plan it with your calendar on Sunday so you plan your week properly and can make the adjustments. So that's the quick run through of SPACE to build your calendar. It's in the book. And again, I'm happy to share even more with anybody if they want to reach out after this episode.
That's great. Yeah, I love the intentionality, just being really intentional with your life. And I think, that blocking on your calendar, this gives you this is where you put in your priorities, and this is where you really can move forward intentionally because you've got it in your calendar. I always say, if you want to know what's important to you, look at your calendar. What is
Absolutely.
it that you're putting into your day? And you are by default saying what's important to you, because that is what you're spending your time on. And if you want something else to be important to you, or if there is something else you're saying is important to you, you have to put it on your calendar or it's not going to happen, right?
Yep, you're right. And that's a great way to know what's important to people. And then an even better way to know is what on your calendar do you respect? Because I don't know how many times I'll be coaching with a client who sends me their calendar every week. And then when we talk during the week, they won't have done certain things on that calendar. And that's telling me you put it there because you knew you should put it there, yet you didn't go to the gym or you didn't pick up the telephone and make those calls, which tells me you don't think it's that important to you and you're not moving forward towards those goals. So it really does become telling as to what makes your calendar and then what you respect and follow on your calendar.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, the follow through is really tells us who we are to ourselves.
Yes.
And, when we are following through on what we say is important, we feel better and we truly do feel happier because we're feeling more congruent with ourselves. If you're always putting something on there that you're not doing, there's this little part of you that's going, dang it, I should have done
The
that.
little devil on the shoulder talking to you saying, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The angel saying, follow your calendar, right? That's what I could tell you all today. You want to achieve your apex. No one climbs a mountain by randomly going out there and doing it, except the first person who's figuring it out. After that, you want to go climb Everest today? Great. There's a path they take you up, right? That someone's going to take you on. They have planned it out and they know where to go and they follow the plan. Your calendar is that plan for your everyday life.
I love it. I love it. So many great words of wisdom. Thank you so much. And we have some giveaways and some special offers, and he has an special offer for you I will mention as well. But first, we have our giveaway from our sponsor, Card Salad. So if you go to habitsforhumans.com, you can sign up for a free 7-day Eat Real Foods challenge. You get 7 days of recipes, done for you shopping list, and meal planning that's just done for you that week. Our second sponsor is the Success Choice. Do you want to start implementing some positive habits right away? The Success Choice Planner and the Success Choice Challenge workshops are the perfect tools. You can save 15% today at thesuccesschoice.com with the coupon code Habits for Humans. And we also, Chad is offering a copy or a signed copy that you can purchase on his website, achieveyourapex.com, of this book that he's been talking about today. So again, thank you, Chad, so much for joining us. That so many great words of wisdom that hopefully I took lots of notes. I have 2 pages of notes here that are awesome.
Thank you. Again, and anybody who wants to go to achieveyourapex.com, you can also contact me from the website. So if you had a question, if you wanted more, if you needed to know a little more, don't hesitate to visit the website, poke around, and then send me a message through the site.
So generous. Thank you so much for offering that.
My pleasure.
Again, this is Habits for Humans. And remember to check your show notes. It will have links for this achieveyourapex.com as well as Card Salad and the Success Choice. So you can follow, and as well as contact information for Chad in those show notes. And also for your free gifts. And thank you in advance for giving us a positive review. Have a wonderful day.